Hi everyone, it's Amy Caroline. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to my channel. So, it is time for some more ghost train stories and it's time for some more ghost train stories and another example from haunted hotels. To get Ghost Train on the Travel Channel. Those of you who work for the Travel Channel company, those of you who work for the Travel Channel company, if it if you live in North Carolina, if you live in New York City, if you live in Los Angeles, if you live in San Francisco, if you live in Oregon, if you live in Denver, Colorado, if you live in Oregon, if you live in San Diego, and if you live in London, England, then please put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel. Please put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel if you work for the Travel Channel company, okay? Those of you who do, cause I don't. It's not gonna be my job. It's not gonna be my job, okay? Okay? It's gonna be your job. It's gonna be your job, okay? All right? So those of you who work for the Travel Channel company, please put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel and make it look like Haunted Hotels was, okay? All right? So I'm going to read y'all a Ghost Train story, and I'm going to read you guys a Ghost Train story, and you let me know if Ghost Train will be on the Travel Channel, okay? All right? So, this one is called Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special. Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special. Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special. Okay, so, and the story went back in time. The story goes back in time. The story goes back in time, the story goes back in time. So I'm gonna show you an example of what I want Ghost Train to look like from I'm gonna show you an example from haunted hotels, and it will give you an example of what Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel, okay? All right? So the story takes place in 1919. Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special. In 1919, a hobo named Lance stood by the tracks in Cleveland, Ohio, waiting to hop the 11:15 p.m. Cleveland Special back to his hometown of Waltzburg, West Virginia. After a few minutes, he looked around and spotted an older hobo squatting by the tracks. He walked over to the other beau and asked him where he was going. The beau replied in a oddly emotionless voice that he was going to Waltzburg, West Virginia. Lance was delighted to find a traveling partner and said so. The other hobo simply said, "You aren't going to be on the 11:15. Lance argued, but the other beau just sat there saying, "No, you won't be on the 11:15. The old beau never even looked at Lance. When the 11:15 whistled in the distance, the old beau stood up with his back to Lance and got ready to hop the train. Lance stood up too without turning. The old hobo said, that that train will cause your death. Lance stared at the man and noticed that his red and green plaid shirt was soaked with blood. He looked away, and next thing he knew, the other man leaned right over and yelled in his ear, "You aren't going on this train, mister." Turning quickly, Lance looked the stranger full in the face for the first time. What he saw was horrible. The man's face was deeply scratched, bloody, and partly crushed. Lance grabbed at the creature, but his hands went right through the bloody wreck plaid shirt. Lance screamed and fainted. When Lance awoke, the bloody hobo was gone. He hopped the next train and made it to Roxburgh okay. He noticed a commotion around the depot when he got in. "What's going on?" he asked the depot manager. "Oh, a hobo tried to jump off the Cleveland Special and got cut, and got cut to bits. All that's left of him in it is pieces wrapped in a plaid shirt." Lance felt sick to his stomach. "Red and green plaid?" He asked softly. The janitor stared at him. The janitor stared at him. "How the hell did you know?" he asked. So anyway, the story goes back in time. The story goes back in time to 1919. So that's what Ghost Train has to do. That's what Ghost Train has to do. That is what Ghost Train has to do. Okay? All right? Now I'm going to show you an example from Haunted Hotels, and you'll see the story going back in time and the people going back in time, and you'll see the story going back in time and stuff like that, okay? All right? So anyway, I'm going to play Haunted Hotels for you guys, and I'm gonna play Haunted Hotels for you guys, and it will give you an example of how the story should go back in time, and it's gonna show the people going back in time, and it's also going to show the people going back in time and the apparitions appearing. So anyway. Here we go.
No one knows why hotels are said to attract ghosts, but according to legends and the stories of staff and guests, they do. The haunting tales passed along from guest to guest tell of spirits who have struggled from beyond the grave to right some wrong. There are also those with unanswered questions.
Most perceive them as a sudden cold or a chill that races down the back.
Those with unfinished business.
Some feel it when the hair literally stands up on the back of their neck.
And those for whom death came too soon.
It's a cold that people describe as going straight to the bone.
Late at night, in strange hotel rooms, lost souls are said to be reawakened, and anything is possible. Haunted hotels are full of legends. Part of the fun of spending the night in a ghostly castle or haunted inn is hearing a tale sure to make you leave the lights on. But behind every hotel ghost story is a ghost.
Many are tragic. I've actually heard of very few happy ghosts, very few singing children.
Hotels said to have ghosts often retain memories of unhappy events.
You've got the unfinished business, you've got the violence, you've got the emotion, all right there. And so it's no wonder that they're haunted.
California's Hotel del Coronado has been a popular place to get away since 1888. So why is it that after just one night, some guests want to flee?
I don't know if I would ever, in fact, I know I would never stay in that room again.
Over the years, the resort has attracted movie stars and heads of state and has been the backdrop for films, commercials, and TV dramas. One of Del's most glamorous guests was Marilyn Monroe, who was here to film Some Like It Hot in 1958. Luminaries find the hotel's island setting hard to resist.
The Hotel Del is beautifully situated right across the bay from San Diego. We have a beautiful stretch of pristine beach, which was pretty much set aside by the men who built the hotel.
Another key to the seaside hideaway's popularity is its oddly intriguing design.
The hotel's architecture is Queen Anne Revival, which is characterized by a very asymmetrical design, lots of turrets, lots of dormers, lots of towers.
But the architecture is hardly the most unusual thing about Hotel del Coronado. It all started over a century ago with the arrival of a mysterious guest.
She came in 1892. She arrived on November 24th, which was actually Thanksgiving evening that year. She checked in alone, which was rather unusual. She did not have luggage.
Signing her name as Lottie Bernard, the woman checked into what is now room 3327.
As soon as she arrived, she drew attention. They said she was acting a little erratically, seemed very unhappy, distraught. She spent a lot of time in her room.
One thing about the secretive guest was evident. She seemed to be very ill.
She was in great pain. She told everyone she had stomach cancer.
But all that she would accept from the concerned hotel staff was a little whiskey.
She was truly sick, but any overture by the hotel to help her see a doctor, she rebuffed. From the day she arrived, she told everybody that her brother was a doctor, so she said, and that he would be joining her, and not to worry because it would all be taken care of when her brother got here. And every day she would go down to the front desk and say, have you heard from my brother? Is there any word at all? And there never was.
Finally, on a moonlit night, the lonely young woman found an end to her pain.
5 days after she arrived here, she was found outside on the beach. She had a single gunshot wound to her head, which the coroner later determined was self-inflicted.
All she left behind was a mystery.
That's just where the story started. When they got to her room, there was nothing of a personal nature there. She didn't have luggage. She didn't have any papers. There was nothing to identify her except by the name she checked in under, which was Lottie Bernard, which was an alias.
The unknown guest became famous before anyone even knew her name.
For a long time, she was referred to just as the beautiful stranger because no one knew who she was. So they actually sketched a picture of her face. They sent it around to newspapers around the country, and eventually someone came forward identifying her as Kate Morgan from Iowa. She was buried here in San Diego rather unceremoniously, very sadly, just this lone 24-year-old suicide victim.
Kate left the world a lonely soul, but many feel she has never left the Hotel del Coronado. Hotel del Coronado, room 3327, where a young woman, Kate Morgan, spent her last days on Earth. Guests Jennifer and Richard Rodriguez were unaware of the room's past when they arrived.
We checked in, went to our hotel room, and kind of settled in.
There was a ceiling fan that came down from the ceiling, and it had tassels that you would pull to turn the light on or off. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see that the tassels started moving in a circular motion, so I thought it was kind of odd.
But it wasn't until after the lights went out that her husband experienced something that defied all reason.
Probably about 2:30 in the morning, I felt somewhat of a tug on my blankets, and at the foot of the bed was a human being pulling the blankets over their head. And I closed my eyes, and when I opened my eyes back up again, it was gone. Then I heard a voice calling my name, just asking me to come over to the peephole. Look outside. Richard, come to the peephole. Come to the peephole, Richard. I stayed up for the rest of the night.
I woke up in the morning, and he was sitting up, just staring ahead, and he said, did you see that last night? The bell gentleman came up. The first thing he said to us when he walked in the room was, how was it to sleep in the haunted room?
Strange things have been said to happen in Kate's room, even in broad daylight.
I would not want to stay in that room because I have talked to enough people that I believe that things do go on there, and I really wouldn't enjoy experiencing any of them.
Inexplicable experiences at the Hotel Del aren't confined to Kate Morgan's room.
In another room, there's been a lot of what can be characterized as poltergeist activity. Things move of their own accord, lights turn on and off, things fly across the room. That's not really activity that we can sort of characterize as being related to anyone in particular, but it goes on there nonetheless.
The room has been known to cause alarm even at the highest levels.
When George Bush was vice president, he was visiting here and had a lot of Secret Service here. One of his Secret Service men was staying in the room where there's been a lot of poltergeist activity going on.
Late at night, the Secret Service agent was disturbed by the sound of strange noises coming from the room above.
So he called down to the front desk and he said, can you let the people upstairs know that I'm getting bothered by all this noise, and could they tone it down a bit? And so our front desk person had to tell the Secret Service person that he was on the top floor. There was no room above him.
But according to some, all the rooms of the Hotel Del are haunted.
When I walked into Hotel Del Coronado, I immediately felt like I was on the Titanic, and I felt energies of people from probably 100 years or 80 years or whatever that were kind of free floating through the actual rooms. When I stayed at the Hotel Coronado, I was able to see one event that was in the main ballroom. It was like a vortex of energy, and I sort of felt a energy floating and almost lights that traveled in almost like a swirling tornado vibration.
The most haunting presence to take human form at the Hotel Del still seems to be Kate Morgan, and her room is one that housekeepers will avoid.
They won't go in by themselves. They'll only go in there when there's, 2 or 3 of them at a time.
For a time, the hotel tried to keep Kate's story under wraps.
I know in the 1960s, there's correspondence in the files that the hotel was trying to put a lid on any ghost stories.
Today, however, the room enjoys immense popularity.
It's sort of interesting that a lot of people want to stay in the haunted room. So that's more a problem for us because we can't really save it for people, and it's just rented out as a regular room.
Perhaps Kate's forlorn soul, friendless and without refuge in life, has found a final home in the Hotel Del Coronado.
People have different ideas about why Kate still stays here. I tend to think she didn't have anywhere else to go.
If walls could speak, what would the walls of a haunted hotel castle say? The foreboding ramparts of Scotland.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. And did you see of how the ghost did you see of how the stories went back in time, and also did you see the apparitions appearing? Did you see the apparitions and the ghost appearing on the screen too? Well, guess what? That is what Ghost Train and the Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special has to do also, okay? The ghost and the apparition have to appear on the screen, and the people have to go back in time, okay? All right? So that is what the Ghost Tramp of the Cleveland Special and Ghost Train has to do, okay? When it gets posted up, when you guys put it on the Travel Channel, that is what it has to do, okay? That is what it has to do, okay? All right? So anyways, so please do that too. Please do that, okay? So, all right, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that story and enjoyed also my example from haunted hotels. And I'll be back later on this evening for another ghost story and another Ghost Train story. And please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell. And I will see you guys later for my next video and my next ghost story, okay? And Ghost Train story, okay? Happy haunted travels to you guys, and happy ghost hunting, and happy haunted times to you guys, okay? Bye.